Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Snap on Ego. My name is Brad, otherwise known as Bradsifer, and I am joined by Chris, the Bootman, Bootay himself. Hey, Chris, did you know that you have lately put in the boot in your Bootman name by shilling for second dinner, you fucking corporate scum?
That's why. Hey, you're the one who bought it. You bought this Darkhawk bundle, and you are part of the problem, good
I did
sir.
buy it.
But
I did buy it. Did you
yeah,
see? I made that tweet for the fucking like when we found out that Spider Ham does the thing and shows you the card. I was like,
right,
I was the first person to put it out. I made sure I was really fast on that. So I'm like,
yeah.
I need to see if it does it. And first game by the way, first game I even loaded into, I drew into fucking Spider Ham and I was like, let's go. And I was like, holy shit, it does show you the card. I'm like, this is broken. And then someone was like, I don't know, man, you bought the Darkhawk bundle. I don't think I can believe your opinion on things or your evaluation.
Mr. Rich Man over here, just feeding the billionaire company second dinner. That's hilarious. I wonder if that's gonna just like stick to you. But yeah, we're gonna dive. By the way, we're gonna dive into the Darkhawk bundle. We got some happier subjects to get into. But first, since you bring it up, what are your thoughts on Spider Ham, my new favorite card?
It's kind of broken. I'm a little scared of it. So yeah, we were on the Snap Judgments podcast yesterday. Was that yesterday? Was it the day before? Day before
Two
yesterday?
days, I think 2 days ago.
Time doesn't exist. We were on
Yeah.
the show recently. It's actually now live. If you want to go to Marvel Snap Zone, to the website, to the YouTube channel, and Snap Judgments on your other podcasting platforms. Bullshit. If you want to listen to us as well as Molt on the show with them, we
Hmm.
talked about Spider Ham because it was on the eve of Spider Ham's release, so literally an hour leading up to it. And one thing we did talk about, and what I did say then, is like I'm hoping we don't get to see the pig and the transformation of the card in the opponent's hand because that feels like way too much information for one energy. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened. We see the fucking pig. There are some bugs with it at the moment. One of them is an unintended bug, but it's like also they foresaw it happening. Is the thing with
Yeah.
Hulk and Null. If you hit and you pig those cards, Death is another example because they have those previews of their power slash cost in hand. The pig ends up locking it in to being whatever the representation was. So if Hulk you floated and the Hulk is at 14 power, then it's locked in at 14 power. And like that, that's so same thing with Null.
Did
If you like that,
Did
that's
Glenn say that was a bug? I thought he said it wasn't a bug, and that's
he
like
said it. He
intentional.
said
Was
it
it not?
it's not intentional technically. It's an oversight of the fact of like that built-in like preview mechanic in your hand for these cards.
Yeah.
He said they hope to iron it out soon and fix it.
Yeah, I would be doubtful that they will. It almost reminds me of like why we had to rework Kitty Pride. Like, remember like when they made that change to like Null and I think Morbius too, or whoever was affected? It seemed like they had to like redo a bunch of stuff. I have a
Yeah,
feeling like if they go
they
in and try to like
reverted it
iron
for
it
a bunch
out.
of cards.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, but like
Morbius doesn't show you anymore in your hand.
yeah, it's all weird. So I don't know if that'll get fixed. I don't mind that too much, but the bug you're talking about when it transforms, it makes them into a four cost, right? Is that what's happening? It like turns
That
every pig
too.
into a four cost, or
Yeah,
how does that work?
it does make everything into a four cost. Like for some reason the pig is immediately just like it is a 4 mana pig for some fucking reason.
Yeah,
That is a bug and that is unintentional. But yeah, they didn't say necessarily that the Null interaction, the Hulk thing was unintentional. It was just an unintended consequence of the way that those are represented,
yeah,
like represented in their power. Same with Death. If you've destroyed 2 cards and Death is now a 6 cost, you pig it. It doesn't revert it back to it being an 8 cost. It locks it
yeah.
in at 6 technically, but then it puts it at a fucking 4 cost for some reason. Ooh, here's the thing with Death. I wonder if it's like if it hits it and it's like it's a 2 cost because it reduced it more. I don't know if it's that broken. Just the
Hmm.
pig thing's weird. Anyway, outside of the bugs though regarding fucking Spider Ham, it is stupid good in terms of information. Like that
Yeah.
alone is so powerful. Also, stop playing it on turn 1, people. Stop immediately going turn 1 pig. You can be
I
flexible.
I need
Play
to
it on
I need
turn
to
3.
like I need to stop, but it's like you never know, right? This is what I used to argue about Leech. Like when people would say, "Oh, early Leech is broken. Early Leech is broken." I'm like, you don't know what they have. You might hit like a bunch of junk and then they draw well. But yeah, with what you're saying, like I was just about to start bitching about how like I just played a game where I hit Adam Warlock. I'll hit freaking Killmonger. I'm like every single time I'm like, this is the highest cost card in your hand, and the amount of people who top deck like their best card. I played against a Black Panther Zola deck, right? I freaking tag like a 5 cost, and I'm just like, oh sick, they don't have Zola going into turn 6, and then boop, there he is. I'm like, son of a
Yeah.
bitch. When do you play Spider Ham? When's the ideal Spider Ham play for you?
It depends on what deck he's in. What I've been playing him a lot in like a Darkhawk kind of like shell, right, or something that's playing Zabu. So what I've been doing is I've been sprinkling him on turn 4, like typically going like like a 4 drop that's reduced to 3 with
Yeah,
Spider Ham next to it. That's been my sweet spot for playing Spider Ham because then my thinking is, cool, I end up hitting something that's going to either interact with me, like they're probably not playing a Enchantress or a Shang-Chi that early, right? So if that's the highest
mhm,
cost card in their hand, I'm hitting that. If it's a Sarah deck, I'm hitting Sarah. And it's also giving them enough time to draw into their big like 5 their 6 drop or like Iron Man stuff like that. So that's what I've noticed as being the sweet spot because I don't want to waiting until turn 5. I feel is too greedy because then if they top deck into Sarah or like they drew into Sarah or whatever, then they just play it anyway
yeah,
regardless, right? So like if they already have it in hand, you want to hit it, or if they have Iron Man, because like oftentimes you played bounce, there are definitely times where like you want to play Iron Man on 5 because then you can kind of disperse your power on 6 and bounce, because it's not the greatest thing to go like Iron Man then like just Kitty on 6, right? That's sometimes a
yeah,
little too awkward. Sure, you basically tell your opponent you got the fucking Enchantress or the Rogue, here you go, but you're also representing enough power there where you can pretty confidently attack the other 2 lanes to where if they commit, 3 to 4 energy on that Iron Man lane as the bounce player, I'm sure you're not too worried about it at the end of the day, especially if you have Hit Monkey and like your busted hand like that. So yeah, I think Pig is very, very good. The
yeah,
information's insane and like that interactive. It's just
yeah.
really good card.
Yeah, when you say that too, yeah, I think 4 might be the sweet spot, because that gives them time to play their lower cards and get some
Mhm.
more draws. But yeah, right before 5, so like maybe 3 or 4, maybe that's what I'll do. But my one last thing about Spider-Man or Spider-Ham, I can't tell you how upset I was yesterday. It looks like the Venomized variant came out, and so many people had it pop up in their shop except for
Mhm.
me, and I want
I
that
didn't have it
variant.
either.
Oh man, are you gonna get it? You gonna spend 1,200 gold on it? I was hoping they'd maybe make it 700, but they're definitely they
I
did 1,200.
I just dropped 1,200 gold on what's it called? This Devil Dino variant that has Spider-Man in
Oh
it.
yeah,
Dude, do you know why I love that variant so much? Is because that
because
Spider-Man looks just like that Japanese TV show Spider-Man. Like the
I don't know if I've
costume,
seen that
it's a
Japanese.
Japanese Spider-Man. That's all you need to Google.
let's
Um,
see. Let's see what Google says.
it's that costume is so funny looking to me. I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah, it
Uh,
does.
that's what it looks like to me. I'm just like
Why is
his
he
little
holding an
sword.
Uzi in this screenshot I have?
It's such
What
a
is happening? Have you
it's
seen
such
this picture?
a fucking show. Yeah, I have. Hey, trust me. Trust me, I
He's
know what
like in
you're
an
talking about.
elevator holding an Uzi.
That's the greatest
Oh my,
Spider-Man ever. You don't give a
holy
shit.
crap.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I just spent that on that Devil Dino, and do you know why I found the motivation to spend $1,200 on that Devil Dino variant is because we
because you're a rich person who buys Darkhawk bundles. That's why.
yes, but yeah, exactly. And because I'm shilling and getting that free 2,000 gold or whatever we get a month from fucking Second Dinner, for the creator program. Which, by the way, by the fucking way,
Oh
if
no, don't
you
do it.
you think I'm shilling for a goddamn company for $30 worth of gold every fucking month that I didn't even know was a thing until I joined the fucking creator program or after the point. I was like, oh, that's cool. I kind of wish it was like stuff we could, which you agree with, by the way. We wish it was stuff we would give away. Like we've
Yeah,
been wanting to get like tokens and stuff like that to be like, hey, here's a giveaway for people like to have like extra
yeah.
tokens and stuff,
I've been
which
begging for that.
they'll just hoard anyway and not fucking spend. But
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I'm not gonna fucking shill for $30 goddamn. I just spent that $30 anyway on the
Yeah.
Darkhawk gun.
Wait,
Afford it. Anyway,
you
fuck
think we're
off.
that you think we're that cheap? Barely covers any of my bills. It's like half a tank of gas. But anyway, you know what? Screw it. Let's talk about that real quick. Did you see that fucking Reddit thread? Did you see that, right?
Which one? There was like
The
12.
one about the creator program and getting
Oh, yeah.
benefits and
Yeah.
like fucking
People were
the
breaking
FTC and stuff. Okay.
people were breaking the not the NDA, but the agreement saying that you had to like mention anytime. But like,
Yeah, yeah. So
we don't have to mention it every fucking video. We just have to have the hashtag Marvel Snap Creator in our like socials and like on the video and stuff. And like, it's not like we're not effectively getting paid, because again, the way around
yeah,
getting paid is we're not sponsored, we're just getting some in-game shit, and it's not even really, we're just getting fucking gold that
yeah.
like
So
doesn't do anything.
yeah, and like to catch everybody up. So in the creator program, and this is all very public information. Like if you go apply for it, it says like some perks. Basically, we get 2,000 gold a month, and that's about it. Like our access to the developers isn't much better than anybody just asking in their Discord. But anyways, this Reddit thread pops up, and it's like long and it had like 1,000 upvotes, and they're saying that it's like breaking these FTC violations. So like there's been an issue, especially in the last year or two, with all the crypto NFT bullshit, where like Kim Kardashian like had to pay like $1 million fine for like doing ads and not disclosing that it was from like some crypto company. She's just like, I just love buying NFTs, but they paid her like $5 million. But
Yeah.
anyways. So like influencers have to do that. If there's an ad, even with affiliate links, I've known this because I've been a content creator for years now. And like in the last few years, even the sponsors have been like, you really need to put this stuff in there. Like one of the affiliates I used to work with, like they kept coming back to me. I had to put it on Instagram and YouTube and whatever, but they were paying me. When I mentioned their service, they were paying me hundreds of dollars, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. Now, as Brad was just saying, with the creator program, they're giving us 2,000 gold a month. And I just want to say this, and this is going to come up later as well. With the amount of shit that content creators talk about second dinner, do you really think like they're taking it easy? Like there are plenty of creators that are in the creator program just talking massive amounts of shit. So it blows my mind that people are like,
Not even just publicly talking shit. They talk shit about second dinner in the creator program chat that we fucking have. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh my god. And one of the other benefits that we get, which we are not at the and beyond the what second dinner says in the public form of like sneak peeks like that, because they talk about that in the thread too. We do get sneak peeks at some things that second dinner does, which is very cool, but that's pretty much like the extent that what we're allowed to fucking talk about. And sometimes when we get sneak peeks, there are creators going like what are you doing, like that kind of shit.
yeah,
And like it's just like what are you fucking saying? And yes, it's the whole point of that is for us to give feedback and like, you know, like essentially voice concerns that the public has and like what people in our like communities have and stuff like that, as well as our creator perspectives, like the way any creator program in any fucking game works. But it's so weird to
yeah.
me that like also one thing I'd like to point out, did you know that there were even this many content creators? Like, have you ever looked at the sidebar of like how many people?
Every now and then I do. Every now and then I do. I'm like, holy shit, you know, like it's
like,
pretty big.
It's like 70 of us,
Is it?
something like that.
That's something. Yeah.
It's like 75, and I'm just like, and like half of them don't even fucking talk in the goddamn creator chat or whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody
like,
pops up. I'm like, oh shit, you're in here.
Who
So
are
right
you?
now there's 71. There's 71. The first person I saw on the list doesn't even like make content anymore. Yeah, I see 71. It doesn't show offline in here. But yeah, anyways, just a little sneak peek at that. But yeah, like, could you imagine if we had to say like just introduce every single video like that. Even like if I'm just doing a deck breakdown, if I'm just saying like, hey, I think this deck is good or bad, if I'm like, by the way, full disclosure, I'm part of the Marvel Snap Creator Program, like, why would that need
Yeah.
to be said? But anyways, like, I'm no lawyer, but from what I see with the FTC, they go after the Kim Kardashians and people doing like really big stuff, like us getting hundreds or maybe a few thousand views. I don't think the FTC is too worried about what we're doing.
They're
But
gonna
yeah,
confiscate my gold. They're gonna fucking have me file
yeah,
a tax form in next year to be
yeah.
like,
You
you
wouldn't
have
even
to
have to.
claim.
Like, because
Yeah.
I think it's like less than like $600 a year or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
no,
like,
no, 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 yeah. We don't have to fucking do shit because it's not even a real monetary value of anything that can be
yeah,
equated to any real money in the eyes of the government. And B, it's not even close to fucking 600. 30 a
yeah,
month, $30 a month. Hey, what is that? $360,
yeah,
the
yeah,
equivalent
yeah. That's not even
in
tax. Yeah,
gold that I
whatever.
can spend on variants.
In
Like, and of
gold.
course,
Yeah,
I want to say I'm incredibly appreciative of Second Dinner of like giving like a little bit back to the creators to for us to have like to voice concerns and like be transparent with them, and that's the point. Like, and I know we're like laughing a little bit about the sense of like shit talking about Second Dinner in the chat. That is partially the purpose, right? Is what I mean by shit talking in the chat. It's like the level at which it comes off. I'm like, wow, it feels like they think they're in a private area of like
yeah,
not with
yeah.
Second Dinner, right?
It's like getting invited over to someone's house for dinner and then just be like, God, this food fucking sucks. You know, just the ultimate criticism. But anyways, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Before, when Brad approached me, he's like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I was like, as long as we don't make it like everybody else's. And I think we've done that. I think people here get a unique experience, Brad. What do you think?
Yeah. I look, the way I pitched it to you originally, after you were reeling back from the fact that like you don't know who the fuck I am and like where did you come from, but I
Who's
I
this
was like,
long-haired
look,
freak?
yeah, I'm like I do another podcast for Magic and I want to do one for Snap and I kind of want it to be in the same vein as the one I do for Magic in the sense that it's like two guys at a bar just fucking well I mean you're having a Shirley Temple like
Yep, yep. Roy Rogers.
yeah but so just two guys hanging out, just fucking talking about the shit that they like, and like no inherent structure to it. Like we have some spark notes of like, basically, do you guys want to know the process of how I fucking figure out what we're talking about before a
Tell
podcast?
him.
Literally,
Tell him behind the
uh,
scenes.
Chris will be like, okay, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. After we talk very briefly what we're talking about. And then before I hit record, I'm like, by the way, what are we talking about? And then real quick, you're just like, oh, probably this and this. And I'm like, cool. And I just hit record. And that's it. That's it. There's not a whole lot of thought involved in
Yep.
it. It really
And that's how
isn't.
you get this grade A content.
Because it makes it makes it fun and like I like remember the one episode we did where we talked about like vaping for like a good 20 minutes and someone was like they're like I actually kind of want the vape podcast. I was like yes. It's like,
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like the retention on that video was fine. I'm like, man, people are gonna leave, and now people stuck through it. They stuck through it, and they stayed for the snap stuff. So yeah, I don't know. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome for this unique experience. So yeah, let's get into the structured content because we did just get some insane OTA balance changes, and like I was shocked. I was flabbergasted, but like I was saying this before we jump into this. I said this on Twitter. I was like, I think one of the reasons I've been defending Marvel Snap so much is because like for like a good 2 to 3 to 4 months.
defending, you say? You mean being a shill? A
Well,
corporate
because I'm swimming in
shill?
gold. I'm swimming in gold like Scrooge McDuck, you know. But
$30.
I think the reason why I've been defending them is because I've been having so much fun in the game. Like prior to this,
Yeah.
probably the last couple months, I was getting bored. I was getting frustrated. I branched out into like Runeterra and stuff like that. DC Dual Force is fun if they ever get that game up and running. But I've just been loving playing Snap. Like the OTA balance changes has made the game so much better. And the Conquest mode coming out, I've just been having a blast, and I'm really happy about all the OTA changes. We talked about it before. People are like, oh, is it too much and stuff like that? And I think with the recent taking like a week off, and stuff like that, think they found a sweet spot. But anyways,
I agree.
I'm very excited about this week's changes. How has your experience been? Have you been having fun playing? Like ever since they got rid of like the overpowered Shuri meta, it seems like things have been like kind of leveled out and shifting a little. Aside from high evolutionary being everywhere in conquest mode, but you know.
Yeah, that's a thing in its own right. But outside of, look, there's always going to be a quote unquote best deck, and like that's the one thing I think the community needs to understand is like when they try to shift their crosshairs into what they're going to be upset about next. It's Shuri, it's Thanos, it's Galactus, it's going to be High Evolutionary, which by the way, a lot of pool 5 related stuff, right? I mean, Shuri was pool 4 at the time, but originally Shuri was pool 5, right? Like she
Was
dropped.
she on launch? Was she pull five?
Yeah,
No, no,
so
no,
she.
no. She was pull five because I was waiting for her to drop, and then I
Mhm.
decided not to when I played on my son's account because he opened it from a reserve, and I was like, "This is boring."
Yeah.
So
So like a lot of frustration in regards to those kind of cards, which I understand. It's a lack of ability to have them to some extent. But then it's leech, it's leader, it's always going to be things that people view to be unfun, and you have to understand that like there's always going to be a top dog. That's kind of how
hmm
games work. It's how metas work. Um,
yeah,
and you just kind of have to accept that. And I don't want it to get to the point where it's like, holy shit, Green Goblin's so fucking broken. This card, 3 mana.
yeah.
It's on my side.
Quicksilver, most busted card ever.
They they get to just not have to mulligan ever. It's why it's not. There's no
Yeah.
mulligan in the game. It's so broken. Yeah, it's just. But overall, I think the meta is really cool. It's a
Yeah,
really
I
fun like
so
thing.
here's my thing too about the high evolutionary stuff. Like I think it is due for some kind of like nerf. I don't think anything major, but
Like
my
my
favorite thing.
suggestion.
Oh yeah, you tweeted something. Here, cover that in a second. But here's the thing. My favorite thing is in conquest mode, since high evolutionary variations are the top dog, people are so cocky with their snapping. They'll come into the first round just like, oh, I have lockjaw, or oh, I have like storm for the lockdown deck. And you're just like, okay. And you're sitting there with like Luke Cage and Doctor Doom and just all this other stuff that's gonna counter them. And people get overly cocky with the best decks, and I love that oh so much. But how would they fairly nerf high evolutionary or the deck? I saw an insane one the other day. I'll see if I can find it while you're going over your ideal changes.
Yeah. So what was it like last week? I tweeted this. Maybe it was like a few days ago. Again, time is a construct. I don't fucking remember anything. But I said that the thing should go from afflicting three power worth of shit to 2. Because then it's still effectively a 4/8, which is still really good. Because like here's the big difference. The reason I think Thing is so pushed and is probably a little underplayed. The lockdown version plays it right, but the lockjaw version does not. For the most part, it's like if you do like play Wasp, which I think that should get knocked down to 1 instead of 2 as well. But if you play the Wasp and they only have 1 card on that side, it only hits 1. If you
hmm
play the Thing, if they only have 1 card on that side, the Thing just fucking smacks them around
Yeah,
3
it just
times.
keeps throwing shit.
So, but like, so either one of two things needs to happen to the Thing. It needs to have the Wasp treatment of their effect to be like, it has to only hit 1 thing per card and not just hit 1 thing. Have you gotten your Jeff hit by a thing? It sucks.
Yeah, I did, but it only took it down 1. But yeah, I could imagine.
No, like I've had Jeff in a single lane, they play the Thing, and I'm just like, I have a 2/0 that I can
You
play.
got a
Like, wow.
2-0.
This is amazing. So yeah, I think it should either get one of two things to happen with the Thing. It needs to get knocked down to only afflicting 2, or it needs to only afflict once per card and up to 3 potentially. The other one is Hulk should be +1 instead of +2. I know people are like, but it now finally feels like the Hulk and super big. But here's the problem: in a vacuum, let's say the High Evolutionary came out, right, and in a vacuum, it only changed Hulk, right, and that was the only card. I think that's okay. The Hulk by himself in a vacuum is okay in that sense. However,
Yeah.
when you combine with the fact of like you can lock down a lane, you can, storm it and then like, put Cyclops there, you can put the Wasp there, or you can put the Wasp along with the Hulk in another location to help bring down the power even more and have this giant guy. You can have Sunspot where you float on turn 5 and make use of like your floating your mana and stuff like that. You can have the Thing, which is effectively a 4/9. Then you can actually even play Abomination alongside Hulk sometimes, that
Yeah.
because he's fucking 0 mana because you've afflicted so much. Oh, and by the way, when you floated that Sunspot turn, you could play She-Hulk at the same like and stuff. Like, come on. There's
Yeah.
so much going on in the context of the deck where it's too much in conjunction with each other. So I would say the Hulk should be a +1 instead of a +2, and then they should fix the bug of the turn 6 thing if you float. Because then now, if you somehow float every single turn, he maxes out at a 6/18, but is going to average around a 6/16 or 17 for most games, right? 4 or 5 turns is about the average I see. Honestly, 4 is probably the average I see for high Evo decks in terms of their floating capabilities, both playing and against it. And a fucking 6/16 is where Destroyer was, and people were like, "That's too good." So like I see no problem.
And, and he had the downside of blowing up your entire side of the board if you didn't have the right card. So sometimes you couldn't even play him.
The Hulk is cool, but he shouldn't fucking single-handedly beat the Infinite, which is literally huge, like in terms of like size.
Yeah, it's a little wonky. I was trying to find the tweet, but someone I forgot who it was. I think it was a bigger creator, but they had the idea of like basically like nerfing like the power of these cards. I'm like, hey, like Cyclops. I'm like, hey, those cards like still go in other decks.
You can't do that because then you fuck up those cards in Patriot decks.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, like especially like with Wasp, because even the Lockjaw deck right now that people are arguing is like the best deck. It's mainly just running Wasp and Hulk. Like those are the only 2 high Evo decks. Remember when everybody was losing their shit that they quote unquote nerfed High Evolutionary before he came out from a 4/7? Imagine if that asshole was still a 4/7. Imagine that for a second.
Because now he's not as playable and stuff, and it encourages you to actually play the Thing in that 4-drop slot, right? Where if he was a 4/7, yes, the Thing is technically a 4/9, but now you're like, yeah, but he's maybe a 4/9 in theory, but now I have a 4/7 that is like on its base stats is just better, right? So
and that would be like for free. The only other comparable cards would be like Jessica Jones, Rescue, Crossbones, and each one of those has something that you have to do, right, in order to pull off that, and then High Evolution would be one less. So yeah, I'd be happy with like your changes with just a little bit less of them, like Wasp hitting 1, like the Storm on 3 into Cyclops on 4 is bonkers too.
Here's my thing about that though. My hot take about my nerfing thing is like, notice I didn't mention Cyclops because I think he's pushed and like he's so good with Storm, right? I agree with that. But here's the thing. We've had this before. Storm with Juggernaut, Storm with Jessica Jones, like stuff like that. Like you can effectively win a stormed lane in that same mana cost before this, and this just adds on to that. I think Cyclops you can stand toe-to-toe against a Cyclops by just ignoring that lane and then dropping something fucking huge later, right?
Yeah.
So I think Cyclops is fine where he is. I know he's really good. I think he's fine because here's the problem. Let's say you play Storm and Cyclops in a lane, right? And I just play Nebula after like having another card there. My Nebula now eventually can potentially outscale your Cyclops if it's like only afflicting 1.
Yeah,
because Nebula goes up 2, or Sunspot, same idea, right? Because you can climb those up a lot more effectively, where he's only hitting 1 at a time. I think 2 is actually a really nice spot for him to make him really good, but not like I don't think he's broken. I think it's the supporting cast around him. I think Wasp is too good, afflicting 2. I think Wasp should only afflict 1 because you're getting a 0/3.
Yeah.
Where look at her companion of at least in the same vein of like what she does. Look at Yellow Jacket. He's a 0/2, but afflicts 2 things on your side.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Well, isn't he just negative? He everything in
Oh,
that
he's
lane
yeah,
gets negative
negative
too.
one. So he could
Yeah,
effectively be a fucking a 0-0 in an
yeah.
instance. So
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I've lately just done the strategy of like, if they're a high evo deck, I see them storm a lane, I'm just like, nope, not even gonna
not
bother,
even a
not
zero.
gonna bother.
He'd be a 0-1 in that sense because he's only 0-2. He's not even 0. Not even a 0-3. He's a 0-2. So if you play him
Yeah,
on a full location, then he's just effectively a 0-1.
yeah,
That's fucking.
yeah,
And then Wasp is just like, yeah, I'm a 0-3.
yeah.
Whatever.
So we'll see what happens, but yeah, getting back to the OTAs, this first change, maybe they did nerf the high evo deck a little. We'll see.
Yeah.
So So the very first one is Doctor Doom. And I don't know if it was a long time coming or what. Like, you know what's weird is forever Doctor Doom just like since I started playing, it wasn't until the last few months. I think with just like the Doom Wave hype, like he got popular. But anyways, he wasn't on reveal. He adds two 5-power Doom bots to the other locations. Now he's adding two 4-power Doom bots. And basically, they said Doctor Doom is our most played 6-cost card by a large margin, and for good reason. He never used to be. Real quick, do you remember that? Do you remember just going back months ago? Nobody played Doctor Doom, like ever.
I
Like ever.
think Well, I think Doctor Doom had the same instance of Arrow, where it's like we acknowledge that, like, especially with the context of Series 4 and Series 5, right? All these other cards are like new shiny new toys, and Doctor Doom is just a really good Series 3 card, like a very good card, right? But Arrow wasn't played nearly as much as she should have been. But then people figured out like, oh shit, she's really good, and
Yeah.
she's also just can slot into any deck. And then Doctor Doom ends up proving to be the same vein. So I think that this nerf, in which they briefly touch on, right, of him being far and away the most played 6-drop, isn't so
Yeah.
much about his power level. I think it's so much about his representation in the meta at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So they say his ability to spread power and bypass restrictive location makes him an excellent card in many past and current top decks like Lockdown, Electro Ramp, and Lockjaw. In fact, he's good at contesting closed locations that he actually encourages decks to be built around doing so more often. I think that's where Glenn is like, oh, the locations, it tests skill and stuff. And like, it's like, did you put Dr. Doom in your deck? But taking one power off his Doom bots, we're looking to tone down his overall strength and improve the diversity among our 6-cost cards in top decks. While we're sad to lose the symmetry between Dr. Doom and his Doom bots, we hope this will bring decks more in line with the rest of the competition besides Doom's tougher than a Doom bot. Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Like I always kind of wondered. I'm like, why is Doombots just as strong as Doctor Doom? So I'm
Yeah.
glad they said that. And yeah, I don't think this is huge. Like, it's cool that they're doing it. It might affect, the lockdown just a tad. But like with what you were saying too, what I'm always wondering, because I'm always trying to encourage people to like go outside the meta, find like surprising decks and stuff like that. Like, how many cards are out there like that are good that people just aren't playing? You know what I mean? Like, which other ones are out there? I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, good in a vacuum is the key thing you have to think about, right? Because Doctor Doom, Arrow, like I just mentioned, of like how Doctor Doom's in that same vein, they are good cards in a vacuum. Magneto is I would argue, a good card in a vacuum. Especially in the context of like lockdown decks being able to pull the Cyclops Storm away, in that sense, like for Magneto. So when you ask like what other cards out there that could be like a Doctor Doom, that can be like just a really good card to play, it can't just be like, well, Ronan's pretty good actually if you like build around him and stuff. Like it doesn't work. You can't ask that same way, right? It just has to be, is this card good enough to just be like, this just goes in the deck, just
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I
I don't
don't know how many
know.
of those there are.
Yeah, I'm not either. I can't think of any. I'm always on the
Like
hunt. I do think like,
maybe Maximus could be played a bit more. I think
yeah,
the downside isn't as big as people view, especially if you bring in the context of other cards like Ronin, of course. Maybe Juggernaut could be a bit more, but then again, these cards like are good, but they don't have the same impact as like this is my top end, like
hmm
because think about playing Doctor Doom in like the Black Bolt Stature Darkhawk deck, right? As just your top card. Like because sometimes you're gonna have games where you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna play Darkhawk and like Stature and like Miles in my turn 6 or whatever. Other games you've already played Darkhawk earlier and you maybe have like you've got Stature down, or you just play Black Bolt for 8, and your better play is just be like, I'm just gonna Doctor Doom. Like that
Mhm.
flexibility, because that's the thing he excels at, is giving you flexibility. Like I think he's in a lot of my decks. Looking at it, actually,
Dr. Doom.
yeah,
Yeah, I probably don't use him nearly as much as I should. Um, but yeah. So we'll see. I wonder if people will use him as much. I think so. Like the fact that you can
yeah.
go in 2 different lanes, add just a little bit of power. Cool. But
He still single handedly beats a Jeff on Sanctum, right?
yeah, yeah,
Which
exactly.
I think is a very valid, because that exact line has come up for me plenty of times where I look at like they have Jeff down, and I'm like, look, if they have Doom, they win, right, in this situation. But if they don't have Doom, they play something singular, then I win. Otherwise, I don't have any other play, and I can at least outscale that Jeff over there in Sanctum. And like maybe they're banking on that, and like that has won me games, and he still does do that effectively. Um, but honestly, look, he's going from a 615 to a 613.
Yeah, yeah, not crazy.
Yeah.
But I will say my favorite thing was when hit Infinite. What was it, last season with the um like lockdown destroyer deck, and
Mhm.
like it had claw in it, and my favorite thing was 8 cube wins off people running Doctor Doom. That's my favorite thing. So, like, there's nothing. I lost 8 cubes just like in my video. In my video from yesterday, I lost 8 cubes to a claw. I was like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Somebody in my comments was like, I was screaming at the screen, claw, claw. um, but yeah,
Bullshit. They didn't fucking know about Claw.
yeah, they didn't know. This next one is a card that I've been screaming about to buff forever, and it's a card that I never play. But I just feel like it was unfairly hurt in the crossfire, and that is our big buddy Red Skull. So he was a 512. That's even weird to say. He was a 512, right? Because he wasn't a 512. He used to be a
Look at
5
Chris
like
literally
15.
supporting a Nazi.
I know. I almost said our buddy the Nazi. I almost said that.
Our
Unique
buddy.
content right here. so anyway,
Someone
Red
clip that.
Skull.
Someone clip that.
Don't you dare. Now he's going up to a 514. So they said Red Skull terrorized our meta for a while in a strong relationship partnership with Shuri. Now that Shuri has been nerfed, we felt it was a good time to restore Red Skull to a higher value. Red Skull is a more interesting card with more power and a more detrimental ongoing effect. This has helped him perform well in decks with cards like Enchantress, Sauron, and of course Shuri. We hope powering up Red Skull will give these decks a boost and create more meta diversity. Sorry, Cerebro. So yeah, he was getting tagged left and right. Like they're like, no, you guys, we're not, for like months. They're like, we're not gonna nerf Shuri. We're just gonna keep fucking with Red Skull, and that's it. That's all you get. And then they're like, okay, you guys, we're finally hurting Shuri, but we can't do that until the next patch, so we're gonna nerf Red Skull again. And Red Skull's just getting its
Well,
ass kicked.
they even were like, "This is a band aid. We might revert it later." It's
Yeah,
like, what do you mean? Why just at that point? I'd rather just have like another week of Shuri being bullshit. Just fucking just stop this.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was
him
just
he
constantly taking him
he
down.
doesn't go to his original stats of a 515 plus 2, but a 514 plus 2 is pretty damn close. And I think I do think with especially with Sauron being out now, right at this point, and having a lot more capability of and even more locations such as deep space
Mhm.
that might show up that can help negate this aspect of him. I think that's fine. I think that's a reasonable nerf from the original version of him. Just
Yeah,
that one power. Also, like he shouldn't, again, flavor like wise, he should not defeat Destroyer single handedly. Okay.
yeah,
Like stuff like that. You have to keep that in mind too. That does make things a little weird. Same thing like I said about Hulk and Infinite. It's technically I would argue the Hulk shouldn't outscale fucking Galactus, but like that's another thing in its own way. So you
yeah.
can't have everything.
Did you see Glenn finally replied because a couple months ago, Glenn said he had data about what the top deck is, but he would say it at a later time.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
yes, yes. It was
somebody
like,
brought it
someone's like,
up.
it's been 3 months. Tell us. He's like, oh yeah, it was a Sauron deck. I
Yeah, it
was
was
like,
Sauron.
I am so disappointed by this answer.
Yeah, it's really weird too because the common argument that I heard was that the best deck was Shuri, and Sauron only made that deck weaker because that deck's good with armor and Cosmo, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, the Sauron version was just straight up killing it.
Yeah, because you had another access to, again, remember when we first started doing this podcast and I was like, the reason decks are good is because they come in rules of 3, and
Yeah,
Sauron adds to that ability for a Shuri deck to give it another way to attack and make
yeah.
your cards function. Like, come on. Like, people shit on me for like my takes sometimes with this goddamn game, but you know what? Fuck you. I'm right a lot of the time, okay?
Yeah, that's
And I
our
will
curse.
stand by
That is our
that.
cross to bear, Brad. We're right just too fucking much. You know, it hurts. It hurts. I have trouble sleeping sometimes. I'm just like, God, why am I right so often? But yeah, I've seen people rocking Sauron a little bit more lately. So now
It's a cool
with these
card.
changes too, yeah, it's decent.
I too don't want to cure cancer. I want everyone to be dinosaurs.
Yeah, that was the funniest shit I ever saw. Someone's who was it? It was one of the people at Second Dinner. They like shared that comic of when Sauron was saying that. He's like, "No, I just want to turn everyone into dinosaurs." I was laughing very loudly. Um, this next one though, I'm still probably not going to use this card because I hate the archetype. They are taking Nimrod from a 5/5 to a 5/6. When this is destroyed, add a copy to each other location. It says this has been this one's been on our wish list for a while, and we've been wary of it in fear of making Galactus more popular as a consequence, since that was the most popular Nimrod deck. Now that we've shipped our Galactus nerf, we're confident in Nimrod, giving Nimrod a small boost that will hopefully make him more promising fodder for Forge, Shuri, and Venom. We've also got some upcoming cards we expect to reward destroying cards even more. So stay tuned for those synergies. But yeah, like
They say this like we don't fucking see the leaks. Like I saw
the data mines.
X23. I
Yeah.
know what you're fucking talking about.
Yeah. Right. Like,
Oh, and what's his name? Son. Wolverine's
Draken.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Draken.
Wolverine's son
Draken.
with the fucking thing. Which I guess we didn't talk about those. I guess we can talk about those after these OTAs.
Yeah. I'm going to pull them up. But as I pull those up, also, yeah, like, I'll tell you this. With the Galactus nerf, I was playing in Conquest mode. I haven't seen much Galactus in Conquest mode, but I played against somebody just playing the Galactus junk deck, and it was the most frustrating experience. I did not have counters for the Green Goblin and the Hobgoblin. I didn't have enough power to like counter Galactus. It was just I might have been playing like my I think I was playing my bounce deck, and that fucker beast just never showed up. I think that was the issue. But yeah, like, do you see Nimrod being played a little bit more, or is it gonna take until they release those other new cards that I'm
I'm
pulling up?
trying to think about like potential like so. Think about this. So Nimrod deck with Shuri, right? Of course, you always want to do the Shuri route because it's too good of a curve to go, Shuri onto Nimrod. Um, and then you can go something like you turn 6. You can do like Venom, Carnage, Nova, or something, or other way around, right? Nova, Carnage, Venom, kind of thing, or maybe just like Venom, Deathstroke. Yeah, there's a lot of different or Deathlock. Sorry, Deathstroke is fucking DC. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different avenues you can go with it. You can go with Destroyer in this. I like it a lot. I like this little buff is actually pretty cool because it goes from you know with Shuri you're doubling to from going from 10 to 12, which I'm trying
Yeah,
to imagine what a board set would look like if something simple. If you just went Shuri on 4, like if you did nothing on 1, 2, and 3, you go Shuri on 4, Nimrod, and then Destroyer on the Nimrod lane, and then just you have 15, 12, and 12. That isn't too far off from games that you can win. And then if you add in the context of going like, let's say you go like Sunspot, Armor, Float on 3, Shuri, and the same thing, then now you're talking about a much more impactful
Yeah.
like lane distribution. So
And
yeah, I think there's something there.
yeah, if you have Wolverine too, Wolverine
That too.
on
That
turn
too.
2, then that's adding, another 4 to another lane if you destroy her. Like just yeah,
Right.
that right there like could be kind of nuts.
I do think that the ideal way to do it would be like a traditional like destroy deck with like a Nimrod Shuri package in it, and then because like I really love the flexibility of like being able to just play Nimrod and then like go like Carnage here and then play Venom, so then the Venom catches the Nimrods again and puts them even
Yeah.
more. I think that's pretty fucking sick. So I
Yeah,
think that's the
we'll
way to
we'll
do
see.
it.
I every time I play freaking destroy decks, I don't get my destroy cards. I'm just sitting out there just looking like an idiot. So
Well,
we'll see.
shout out
I might not
to my friend
play
Adrian
it.
then, like I told you earlier.
Yeah.
He
You know,
he hit infinite with Deadpool.
what was the deck? Was it just like a normal Deadpool deck?
I'll have to ask him for the list. But it's yeah, it's Deadpool. I don't think he's even doing Forge stuff. It's just straight up like uh Deadpool Wolverine. I don't remember if he took out Bucky or not. I don't remember if he just said I don't fucking even want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine, Venom, Deathlock, and all that. Death, maybe Taskmaster's in there, but yeah, it's a pretty standard list. He probably has, knowing him, he probably has some random ass fucking card in there that's like, why is this in here? But hey, it's you hit infinite, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
If Nimrod just starts showing up, I'm gonna bring out the destroyer deck that I hit infinite with. Because the whole reason I put that list together was because they buffed Venom by 1 point and everybody was running destroy deck. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, what's a list I can run that has armor and Cosmo?
Mhm.
And I just like started doing that to mess with them. So maybe I'll whip that back out. But the last one on our list is our man Nick Fury. And yeah, Secret Invasion just came out too. So good
More
timing. So Nick,
controversy.
I haven't watched it yet, so no
No.
spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Sorry, no spoilers. The controversy is the fact that they used AI art for the intro.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So anyway, Nick Fury, 5'7", that adds 3 random 6 costs to your hand. That's the old one. New one is a 4/5. He adds 3 6 cost cards to your hand. So Nick Fury has never quite found a place to shine. As a 5 cost that grants 6 cost cards, there's not much time to take advantage of the cards he spawns. By bumping him down to a 4 cost, effects like Titan and Quinjet give players an opportunity to play 2 of his reinforcements on turn 5 and 6. Plus, it gives Agent Coulson the ability to give Nick a call when he's in a jam and could use some avenging. We're excited to see what you'll
That's
assemble
awesome,
with Nick
dude.
Fury's new stats. I didn't even thought about that with Quinjet being able to play two 6 cost cards. Like that's pretty
Yes.
cool. I'm pretty excited about this. But there was a season where I won. Like I hit infinite with I wouldn't call it a Nick Fury deck. It was I called it Agent Dino. It had Double Dino. It had Coulson, Nick Fury, Collector. And like I did it when Luke's bar was the location. Because what I was doing was I kept filling my hand so I can keep cards in Luke's bar. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal. But yeah, I'm stoked. Now he works with Zabu too. We can make some
That
crazy
too.
stuff happen.
So the deck that I hit infinite during the Shuri season um, was my Satan's Pet Hawk deck, which is the Devil Darkhawk deck basically. And I love that deck because it gave you a way to pivot. Because you're already playing Zabu, so like White Queen gets reduced. You got Rockslide, you can play Korg, then you can play Mystique. Because the problem with like going one or the other is Mystique is just a little awkward because then if you draw her but don't draw Darkhawk or don't draw Dino in those decks, it's kind of like, well, what is she doing? You don't really want to play her to copy Zabu. It's not that great. But now in this version, you give her a pivot to because you can pivot from one to the other, a Darkhawk version or a Darkhawk game versus a Devil Dino game, and then Nick
Mm-hmm.
Fury on top of that makes your turn 6 after a Devil Dino even much better because typically. A great play is just going into like Mystique to copy Dino on turn 6, followed up by a Agent Coulson to get 2 cards to your hand. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a Zabu out, you can do that same thing, but get that 1 extra card with Nick Fury. on turn 6, and then you're getting that extra little bit of power too, because Coulson's a 3/4, Nick Fury is a 4/5. In this case, it'd be a 3/5. Yeah, I think this is fucking sick. I cannot wait to try it out. We're gonna break
Yeah,
that deck
yeah.
back out and give it another shot.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And remember they gave us that free card where it's like a Sam Jackson like signed one, and like people
Yep.
can't use it. So like I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, we'll run through the elite cards real quick so you guys are caught up on the whole Nimrod helping and stuff. So in this is August. Yeah, this is August. The season pass card is gonna be Dakin, not sure how to pronounce it. Then we have Lady Deathstroke, Silver Samurai, X23. Dakin is add a Muramasa shard to your hand, and that is a 1/1 card. And when this card is discarded or destroyed, double Dakin's power, and he's a 3/4. So that's pretty dope. And I'll just run through these other cards real quick. Lady Deathstroke is a 5/3. I've seen a 6-cost version of her too, so I don't know if that's settled yet. But it says on reveal.
That was the old data mine version. So the 5 is she used to be a 6/4. So we'll see if this is what sticks.
Huh? Yeah, because this is destroy each card here with less power than this, and she's a 5/3. Then we have Silver Samurai. I'm excited about this. Each player discards the lowest power card from their hand. And then we also have X23. When this is discarded or destroyed, regenerate it at a random location and you get +1 energy next turn. So it's like a little twist on Wolverine with X23. But anyways, what are your thoughts about these data mine cards for August?
The X23 one is going to be really interesting because remember what I said about Null being in regular destroy decks, sometimes a little awkward because you want to be able to go, like in a Deadpool deck, for instance, I love going on turn 6, like Deadpool, Taskmaster, and like doing that. But then you can never fit in Null on either side. You can't go like Null, Taskmaster. You can't even go Null, Deadpool a lot. X23 now at least gives you the idea of going Null and Deadpool on turn 6, right? Potentially. And that's minimum because the same way that I said you can set up like your Nimrod to where like Nimrod pops up over here and you can catch it with like another destroy effect on the same turn. You could theoretically do that with X23. You have to call your shot, right? Because she just regenerates same way as Wolverine. So maybe she just go back to the same lane or whatever, but maybe you can do that too incidentally. So I think that's gonna be really good. Dakin is going to be very interesting in the sense that he's probably a card that I say is going to be the most high impact of these cards. Silver Samurai is a close second because of just being able to do more Black Bolt stature shit and being a Zabu target in addition to that. Dakin with that shard, or not the shard, but the sword. Even outside of destroy decks, think of Sarah Control playing this card and then just Killmonger on the last turn.
Yeah, just buffing that up to a 3/8. Yeah, if you have that out and Nova,
because then Nova hits him first, right? If you played it right, and then he goes up to
shit.
He doubles that. He's a 3/10 now.
How would you do that? I haven't even thought about that. Does Killmonger have any type of order with what he hits? Is it left to right or anything like that?
Yes. No. It's based. So if you play Nova first, like if I like playing Deadpool, right? If you go like if on turn 5 you go Nova, then Deadpool, then Killmonger. When Killmonger spreads out his shit, he'll hit all of them, but Nova will explode first because you played it in that order. If you did the other way around, then Deadpool misses the Nova hit.
And that'll go even if you played Killmonger on a different turn. Even if you played, let's say, Nova and Deadpool on 2, and then, all right, yeah, no, that'll be busted. That's dope.
So
we need to maybe bring back little Majantress for that action.
Yeah, so I think he's going to slot in really nicely in a lot of decks. Like I would say, like I really like the idea of him in that Sarah Control list. You could maybe just go with like, hey, I'm going to run one extra destroy thing, like a Carnage, right, just to kind of hit it. But I think
that's what Majantress has. Carnage. This is
I think
a
you
thing.
can get away with it with just doing the Killmonger, and like if you hit, you hit.
Yeah.
Because he's still a 3/4, which is okay. But yeah, I think this I think the card's really, really good. Silver Samurai is gonna be very good as well. Like I just said about the Black Bolt thing, stature, and being a Zabu target.
Dude, imagine playing that with Shuri though.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Forge
Shuri
Forge,
Yeah,
Okoye, anything that buffs him.
yeah, that'll be nuts. And that's a season pass card too. That's one of the better cards that'll be releasing in August, and that's a season pass card. I wonder if that's gonna be like the next like Zabu or Silver Surfer, where people are like, whoa,
Well,
whoa.
here's a thing that I think that might make that different for people's perception of why, like, how good it is. Um, we've had some complaints about Nebula, right? But nowhere near as much as other ones. Do you know why? I think it's because she's blanket good, goes in any deck
Yeah.
that you want. Now some
Yeah, she
decks will
doesn't
make
create
use
like
of
an
Sunspot.
archetype.
Yeah, some decks like make better use of like Sunspot and stuff like that, right? But she, for the most part, can go in any deck you want. Whereas the other ones, like Zabu, cares about X amount of X type of cards. Surfer cares about
Mm,
X type of cards. Modok, which no one complained about Modok, but just to continue with the trend, cared about discard and stuff like that, right? So it's
yeah.
very specific in terms of what it does. Where he's going to be another one that I think, yes, Destroy cares about him, but he's just good enough to where I think he can just, you can have a package
Yeah.
where it's just like a
And
Killmonger and a Carnage, and that's it.
you know what else? Like you could run this, you could toss in Colleen Wing, right?
Yeah,
Like
because he's also
Colleen Wing
discard.
is she's a 2/4, which is decent. Freddie Babes had a deck months ago when it was just this weird, like it had like move and it had Colleen Wing with Swarm or something like that. And it was just solid, right? And if you could tag this thing, phenomenal. Like I'm really excited about that. But the other card I'm most excited for is Silver Samurai. Like just for another stature enabler. My concern was like I remember when stature started getting popular, or it might have even been before that when stature was released. Glenn said something about like messing with your opponent's hand like that is a very powerful ability, a very frustrating thing. So I'm like, man, we're never blackballed it. Blackballed is the extent of this thing with Moon Knight. But now that we have this as well, shit, Silver Samurai would DAC in too, because
Yeah,
it
and it's already
discards the lowest power
lowest.
card from both of them.
Yeah,
So that would be a crazy deck. Think about Stature, Black Ball, Silver Samurai decking. Like, you got some crazy stuff
Colleen
going on
Wing,
right there.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
Maybe running it
yeah,
like just throwing a Carnage that could just be able to do like if you don't discard it and you have to play it, then you can also hit the Wolverine too, which that can
yeah.
also be hit by Colleen Wing. Maybe you play Swarm at that point, just to get the extra. It just depends on how far you go lean into it. But then, of course, we're getting excited about these cards. But then there's Lady Deathstrike, which I've seen a lot of people shit on. And yes, I acknowledge that for the most part, she's a worse Shang-Chi. Even like when you're trying to, and some people were like, well, what about your own stuff? It's like, well, Carnage is 2 energy versus 5. And it does the same thing she does. And yes, there's neat
Yeah.
situations where maybe you're like, oh, I have a, what's it called? A Bucky Barnes in this lane, but then I have like something that's bigger, right? Like a let's say it's Maximus or some shit. Doesn't matter, right? It's just that
Mm.
they're in the same lane, and I can go Lady Deathstrike and just only hit the Bucky and not worry about hitting my other card. There's niche stuff like that, sure. But the thing I'm interested in with Lady Deathstrike, and I want her to be a little bit less. I want her to be like a 4/3 instead of a 5/3. But you know what I like her against? Dracula, because we don't have a card that hits Dracula.
Ooh, shit. Yeah, I've been hyped about Spider-Man 2099, but that's good. You know what else I was just thinking too? Like, and I wonder if this was part of the design. She'll be stellar in Mr. Negative, right? She'll turn into a
Well,
3/5.
maybe. I mean,
Like,
how
that's
many things does
decent.
she still hits only some things, and then Mr. Negative list. I don't know if they're really super excited about getting a 3 cost that hits some things, when
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
okay. But here's the thing. Do you know why I'm saying it's not going to be that great? Because you know what other hit card for negative that would be a 3 cost that kills things? Shang-Chi
What?
would be a 3/4 that hits things anyway, and they don't run Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering. I may just be trying to make her work. You know what I mean? But like at that stat line, you can't even like really shuri her to do like a crazy amount
No.
of stuff.
I think she should be lower cost, and if she's like dude, even if she was a 2/3, right, and she's just a card that hits single lane stuff of like something just hitting Dracula, I think can make her a valuable tech card for like certain metas. If she's appropriately costed, I don't think 5 is right. I think it's too much. even if like, because like at that point, like yeah, she hits 1 drops. Well, so does fucking Killmonger and hits all of them at 3.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it
and they get
does.
the
Yeah.
same power output too, and then hits your own thing, so you have synergistic stuff, and so does she, I guess. But it's again single lane. So if she was like a 2/3, that you're just like, this is my fucking removal for Dracula before he hits a thing, like that alone, I would be very much interested in. So I think the 5 is too much. Way
Yeah,
too
5
much.
is nice. Hopefully, this is one of those things where they adjust it before it comes out. But like looking at this list, I think it's like I buy pretty much every new card, but her, I might wait at least a few days to see how other people play with her. You know, because the only cards I haven't bought in recent memory is Snowguard and Stegron, right? And Stegron I have pinned, but I'm still maintaining home. I'll pull him from a reserve.
Me too.
But yeah,
That's my last
yeah.
season 4 or series 4 I need. I'm missing. I'm only missing Stegron and then Tribunal at this point.
Oh really? I pulled Snowguard from one the other day. I was like, I just want
Oh no,
Stegron. So
I'm missing Howard. I'm missing Howard. I
uh,
still refuse to get him because I'm just like he's fine.
he is. I still need to try him in Conquest. That'll be in another episode. I'm gonna experiment with that because the information, like people are understanding with Spider-Ham that information is just a good thing. It's
Yeah,
good, you know.
yeah. But I
Like
think knowing your opponent's information is a little bit more valuable than your own.
yeah,
So that's like, look, if this game ever had like a Thoughtseize effect, which Thoughtseize is a card for Magic that is a single black mana that says target player reveals their hand. You pick a card, pick a non-land card, discard it, and then you lose 2 life. It's a very good card. It's a staple in pretty much any format it's played in or legal in. At least for constructed. If we got a Thoughtseize type of effect, a 1 energy card, like let's say, like what if it was just like 1 energy, 0 power, reveal target opponent's hand, and then like then a card is discarded at random because you can't choose and snap. Like that'd be so fucking good. That'd be
yeah,
insane. Every deck would play it.
yeah. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, I wonder if they'll change. Do you think they'll change Spider-Ham? I don't know if it's too much. I know some people were
No,
freaking out.
I don't. I think they're gonna just let it be. I don't like the information that it gives. I think it's too good. Here's the so if they fix the thing with Hulk and like Null and stuff like that, then maybe they should. But if they don't fix it, and that way you have some downside to him, I mean honestly, he could be a 1/0 and I'd still play him. That's where I'm
Yeah,
at.
I basically said that. Like when some people were asking me if I think he's broken, I think I was like, in the current meta, I think it's just perfectly fair. I think it's perfectly fair. There's a lot of people putting out really big things right now, and like that little information, it like evens things out slightly, and especially with Hulk maintaining his power and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Anywho, those are the changes. And by the way, they said bonus OTA, Krakoa is out of the game to be redesigned at a future date. So that's just kind of continuing their thing on removing locations, possibly tweaking them. You know what's annoying? Glenn confirmed that they're not bringing back the gym, the one that gave us extra boosters.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's a dick move. Come on. Like, that was just a fun thing for us. Like,
me? You know what that tells
what?
me?
What?
Mephisto is not going to be what he's data mined as when he releases.
Yeah, ever since I saw that card be data mined, I'm not buying
No
it.
shot. No shot.
Mephisto, for those of you who don't know, a 6/0, and you play him and it doubles the cubes.
Yeah.
Like if you win, you get double the cubes or something like that. And like, I'm just like, I don't know. Like the only thing
especially with the change, because if you get 16 cubes in a game, you jump up 2 fucking ranks.
Yeah. That'd be nuts. But like, I just thought about it just so much. How many games have you played where you could drop 0 power on the final turn and just still win it? And somebody stayed in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could not think it was. Yeah. So I don't know. So it's probably gonna change that. And they just recently trolled us with the Loki card too. Loki was like swap hands or something like that, but they recently just changed it to Rickroll everybody. So yeah, more data mines coming. We'll see what happens. But yeah, to wrap this thing up, there's been a bit of controversy in the Snap community, and like I said, for some reason, and you guys heard the little backstory, our origin story about how Brad and I didn't know each other, but we're on the same page about a lot of shit, and it's fucking weird. And one of these things is that everybody needs to chill the hell out, because right now, this week, people have lost their shit over this $30 Darkhawk bundle with the 3x value on it. And I think maybe we should make clear that we do think it is an expensive bundle. And I don't know about you.
Value, and no one should get it. I am Darkhawk is one of my favorite, not only cards, it's my favorite card in the game, one of my favorite characters in Marvel. So I am a dumb little slut boy that wanted the Darkhawk thing, is basically what it comes down to. Okay, so do not follow my footsteps in this unless you really, if you really, really like the bundle in the sense of like you like the variant. And that's pretty much it. And you think you can spend $30 on a variant, which I don't think is a good deal at all. It's a bullshit deal. The 3 times value was a fucking joke. I think they fucked up and didn't mean to put the 3 times value on that bundle. It was supposed to go on something else.
Yeah, I think somebody got yelled at or fired or something. Like, we are dealing with this shit. Like, it's become a meme about the 3x value. Like, it's just all bad. Like, we think it was bad, but like the question is, like, so I am a mental health guy, all right? And like my mental health is very important, and I need to ask myself regularly. I used to have a lot of anger issues as well. And I'm like, is my reaction proportionate to the situation, right? And right now with this, I don't think the reaction is proportionate to the situation. So my whole thing that I've just been like, fighting people off, like, what was it, Neo in Matrix 3, where there's like a million freaking just Agent Smiths coming at him? That's what it's been like on Twitter. I'm like, hey, everybody, calm down. People are not remembering all the good things that Second Dinner has done. We have videos popping up every other place. And what drives me nuts about all the videos coming out is that I'll see people share it, or I'll watch the video and people act like they're this speaker of truth. I'm like, I gotta say it or nobody else will. I'm like, bitch, everybody is saying this. Everybody is saying this. Like, this is nothing new. And then people are coming after me like, well, content creators need to speak up about this. I'm like, I told somebody, and I'm glad this didn't get me too much backlash, but I said, if you cannot look at the Darkhawk bundle and then look at the Bring the Pain bundle right next to it and realize that Darkhawk is the bundle is a terrible value, you're probably not smart enough to be playing this game. Like, if you just can't do a price comparison, you know what I mean? Like how do you even go grocery shopping, right? If you can't tell, people are like, no, they're trying to somebody said they're trying to take advantage of the weak. I'm like, take advantage of the weak? They're not like bringing drugs into a rehab center. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
About that. I will say, again, the bundle is ass and was a mistake. However, people with the tinfoil hats saying that they're just trying to because yes, I understand it's sussy, and the fact that it's coincides with the series drop bullshit, the fact that Nolan Darkhawk stayed in series 4, but people who are saying, well, they're just trying to make it so that Darkhawk, you can just buy it for $30. That's the 3 times the value, because 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. It's $30. Yeah. That's their math or whatever. Okay, look, we know for a fact, because Glenn has said this a couple times, I believe, in the fucking Ask the Team thing, that they make these bundles months in advance. This is just really shit timing on their part, and also they fucked up on the 3 times thing. Yes, again, it is a bad bundle. You should not have bought it more likely than not. I am, again, a dumb boy who sees pretty things and goes, I need. Remember, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic before this. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is literally the epitome of the expensive cards are the prettiest cards, because the rarity are locked into the foiling. It's not like Magic where it's like you can get the regular card or you can get the pretty foil version or all the different other arts that they have. No, 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 no. In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, do you want the secret rare in this set? Because the secret rare is the broken card that you need to play. And I'm like, but the secret rare is so fucking pretty, and it's
Yeah.
$70 each, and I need 3 of them, and that's only 3 out of the 40. Yes, here, take my fucking money. They're pretty, and then you get all the pretty cards, and it's like, oh, don't even
Yeah.
start on Necros when those were at their fucking peak, and because those got reprinted to be ultra rares and shit at one point, but they used to be all secret rares, and that's an archetype with like fucking 15 cards each that you have to fucking put in. Fucking Christ. You know who bought them? Me, because they're pretty. So again,
Yeah.
I'm a fucking outlier in this sense. I'm not dumb. I know I'm throwing money away when I bought the bundle. So don't fucking sit there and be like, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about because he bought the dark. No, I acknowledge I'm fucking stupid in that sense, but it's pretty. I'm telling you, don't buy it.
Yeah. And like, it's bonkers to me. Like, and it just has been forever, even with like all the token shop debates and people asking, that's why I did my whole thing on the token shop and how to spend it. Like, for some reason, people can't like take real life scenarios and equate them to Marvel Snap, right? Like, there is so much shit. There's so much shit in life that people will spend money on that I just won't, right? Like, I just won't, right? People like artwork, people like fancy clothes, people like all sorts of things where I look at that and I'm like, this is stupid, right? And that's the whole thing about just, the capitalist economy. How much is this worth? However much anybody will pay for it, right? Like, I talk to my son a lot about this stuff too, because I'm molding this just amazing young man. But anyways, like, I'll ask him, I'll be like, hey, Dylan, how much would you pay for Tristan's makeup? Tristan's my beautiful girlfriend. I'm like, how much would you pay for that? He's like, nothing. I don't want makeup. I'm like, but she spends a ton of money on it because she wants it and she sees value in it. You see what I mean? And it's like the same thing with art. I don't understand why people buy $5,000 paintings. I don't get it. Around me, if you look around my room, do you see all these Legos? Like, do you see these? I wrote an article for Business Insider about how I flipped Legos. Because there are the first Lego that my son found, and we're like, oh, let's see how much this is worth on eBay. $200 for a fucking minifigure, bro. Like, a minifigure. If any of you can see this, these are Lego minifigures. He sold an Ahsoka one from this rare set. It was $200. Is it worth it? I don't think so. It was a little piece of plastic. We sold that shit. But anyways, that Darkhawk bundle value is worth however much it's worth. It's worth that to whoever. And Second Dinner looks at their metrics and they say, should we keep pricing stuff like this? But yeah, it is crappy timing with Darkhawk not dropping. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Second Dinner said time and time again that they're working on card acquisition. We also just had, even though it was a flub, we'll talk about this in a second, the weekend missions, which are basically like a rebate, right? So the weekend missions, the first one failed. It was for Silk, but we're still getting our tokens back. But they're having missions where if you get the new card, they're going to have missions that week so you earn tokens back. So you're getting like a little bit of a discount basically, right?
Yeah.
But I just constantly see Second Dinner just trying stuff, trying to find balance, and like people are just furious, like they're this evil company. You know what I mean?
They're just like Red Skull.
They might as well just put on the uniforms.
They're out there waving Ron DeSantis flags in front of Disney World.
Oh my God. Freaking, I don't understand how I have a good buddy who lives in Florida. I'm like, I just couldn't. But I'm sure there's lovely people
not like
there.
I chose this. I was born here.
You're just born there.
Like,
but
it's like the Ben Shapiro argument. It's like, oh, your area might get flooded. Just move, dipshit. Go move to a new house. It's like, my house is flooded. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. No, it is expensive to move too. But in addition to all this Second Dinner hate, there was some more data mines and stuff like that. And I'll put it this way. I've been reminding people to remember the good things Second Dinner has done, right? First off, everybody got a free Series 5 card with Kitty. All right.
Yeah.
And the entitlement that comes with it, like, well, they screwed it up. I remember telling everybody, I said, you are out of your mind. With as stingy as Second Dinner is with new cards, people were demanding Kitty for free, just demanding it. I'm like, you are out of your mind. I'm like, best case scenario, people who bought Kitty get a refund. No way. No way they're giving everybody Kitty for free. They did. And like that left people's memories so fast.
And Kitty is one of the best cards in the game right now, on top of that. It's not like they gave everyone fucking Snowguard for free. They gave you goddamn Kitty Pryde, who's, again, if you put, we talked about this when we were on the Snap Judgments podcast. I said, right after you left, actually, because you left early, because Molt said maybe Kitty's the best card in the game. I'm like, she is if she's played on turn 1. She is the best card.
I listened to that part. I was like, oh, what did I miss? And yeah, like, no, Kitty on 1, I will snap that shit. But everybody got her for free. And people have wanted other things. Like, remember how long we were all complaining about infinite rewards being like titles and stuff like that? They changed it. We get card backs every single season now without fail. They realized it. We yelled, we screamed, we got it, right? When the token shop first came out, there was no way to get tokens. Like, they gave you your like early tokens, and then they were like, oh, maybe we'll do some bundles and stuff like that. Now we get them in reserves. There's so many things that people have complained about, Second Dinner has implemented, and it's like, the community offers them no grace. Just no, you're not allowed to fail at all, and if you do, then this is what we were talking about at the beginning. Content creators will just start making videos on it. Just making videos left and right, riling up the community. But the most recent one I saw was with the data mines. Because this season they did straight to Series 4 cards. Spider-Ham, one of the best cards this month that we're finding out, right? And Spider-Man 2099, straight to Series 4. Next month, we're getting cards straight to Series 4 again. We didn't know if they would do it. And I see people complaining, these aren't the, of course they're doing this, but they're giving us the crappiest cards straight to Series 4. I'm like, motherfucker, at least they're doing it. I'm like, how do I even have to argue that, like, with people? Like, I'm just asking them, I'm like, so they should go back to just making everything Series 5. Is that what you're saying? We should get a Series 5 Snowguard again? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
This is something we've talked about for months, right? We've always said, like, they should make worse cards go straight to Series 4, possibly Series 3.
I still stand by Series 3. Like, Snowguard's is fucking serious. Yeah. Have you, dude? I pulled her out of reserve last fucking week, and do you know if I've played her at all yet? Fuck no. I haven't even tried. I hadn't even thought about it. I saw her pop up in reserve, and I was like, okay. And that literally, audibly, out loud, I literally did that exact thing. Just, okay. And then just forgot about it. I see her sometimes when I'm going through cards to go, like, make a deck, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I scroll. I'm not fucking playing this shit card. I don't give a shit. But hey, it should have been a Series 3 card, so I could do that for even less of a fucking asshole.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. I did play her once because I've been trying to open reserves and hopefully get Stegron. So I'm like, oh, well, if I can get boosters on her, then I can level her up for 25 credits, move up a little bit on the collection track. Yeah. That was the only time I played her. Hopefully with a patch we see that. But like,
make her non-symmetrical and she'll be really good.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's it. That is it. I don't know if they thought it would be too powerful or what.
Maybe they just don't have the capabilities of doing it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, sorry. It affects everybody.
It does not work. We tried it. It broke the game. And do you want another Kitty Pryde? But I mean, look, give this one off for free. We really don't give a shit about it at this point because, like, if you pull up the fucking data of Snowguard, I guarantee you it's the bottom of the bottom. Like, it's worse than, like, give me a bad card. Punisher. I think Punisher is a better win rate than Snowguard. I guarantee you it does. And that's a card that needs a buff.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just mainly want people to chill, give Second Dinner like the benefit of the doubt. My whole thing is just like I try to put myself in their shoes and like for like 2 seconds, and I just could not imagine. I could not imagine getting like so much crap for everything I do, even like the positive things. Like when people were complaining about the next Series 4, straight to Series 4 cards, I'm like, I'm done. If I were at Second Dinner, I'd be like, Ben Brode, love the game, but I'm out of here. Like, unless you're like having like an on-site therapist for me, like I'd be like, I just can't handle this shit. So God bless any of them that even open Twitter and like Glenn. I don't know how Glenn does it, by the way. I've been thinking about that so much lately. He just has the most
one-man PR, and he also designs the game and fucking answers questions about intricate fucking interactions and cards and shit. And he's like, I'll have to check with the team on that one. They're like, you don't know the answer now? And it's like, holy shit.
And he just has like the most smoothest hilarious like fucking answers too. Like I've retweeted some of the stuff that Marvel Snap Daily Bugle posts. I'm like, I'm like, the way these people ask questions, they're like, hey, you fucking moron, why does this card do this, you piece of shit? And Glenn will just be like, well, actually, da 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 da. I'm like, I'd tell that guy to fucking kick rocks. Like, what? I would just ignore it. Like, me and you have had actual questions just straight up deleted, and Glenn will take the time out of his day. Maybe they're masochists. Maybe that's what it is. They do a personality test before they hire them.
Get way more engagements. We got to farm some fucking engagements. These fucking content creators already know some of this shit. They don't need to fucking ask. Delete. But this guy with the anime profile picture, that's probably actually a hentai thing. Oh yes, we need to let that question go through because that's gonna farm engagement.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know what it is, but God bless them for answering questions. I would hate to have to be any part of their public facing team. And Glenn pretty much does it from the kindness of his heart. He's answered, like, he's just like, oh yeah, if I have extra time, I'll just check.
What? Okay, I would love to be hired by Second Dinner just so I can just fucking have people just still call me a shill and then be like, well, yes, it's in my contract that I have to.
I have to be a shill. Now I really am a paid shill. They pay you in more than gold. So yeah. Are there any other hot topics from the Snap community you want to cover before we bounce out of here?
No, just that like when good things do come upon the horizon, which they definitely will be, please remember to take it in stride and take it with like with grace and like be happy about it. And like, remember that through all the complaining you did, you're getting some cool shit, coming up soon. And you should be, look, again, constructive criticism is healthy and good and encouraged. I think you should always criticize things. You should question everything. That's how you should go with life. I don't think you should be a tinfoil conspiracy theorist. However, you should still question shit. You should still give criticism when necessary. But there's a difference between giving valid criticism and just screaming and saying, I want things for this. And you're not giving me enough free things in the game that I do because you have a small investment of money perhaps into the game. You're not a fucking shareholder. You don't sit at the tables when they have these fucking meetings talking about the money that they make and the revenue they just pulled from last month. So you can fuck off with that.
Yeah.
Just give criticism when necessary. But when they give you good shit, don't be like, wear more. Like,
or this isn't good enough. I don't. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I want to echo that too, because like, I am a big proponent of like criticizing, especially criticizing the things that you love. I think one of the issues I take is that the criticisms then turn into dogpiling. Like, I know for a fact I would get some views if I just made a video like this Darkhawk bundle is the biggest ripoff in Marvel Snap history.
Oh, your biggest video, isn't it still like the one where it's like content creators are lying to you?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest ones.
So again, the negative videos get clicks. I fucking know that. I've been on the internet for more than 2 fucking years.
Yeah, for more than 5 minutes. I
understand it. Like, come on. This isn't new. This isn't groundbreaking. And then people have the fucking audacity and the gall to be like, well, I'm not using scare tactics or making negative content or whatever. Oh, fuck off. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
At least
I've actually been like I've been trying to be mindful of that, like finding the balance, and like that doesn't necessarily win the YouTube game, right? Because I've been trying not to make videos that are like, oh, this is the best deck ever. And I also don't want to be like, oh, this is garbage and content creators are overhyping this bullshit. I don't want to put that in the title either. I want to like
where were the videos that like would just shit on Snowguard? Like, why isn't there anything of just like, if there was any outrage I would have been happy about is just them be like, how dare they release this horrible fucking card? Because that way I genuinely have feelings of like, with the way card acquisition is and the economy is and how cards are individually priced, especially at Series 5, how dare you make a card so fucking bad? Like, come on.
Yeah.
That one I could get, but like, no, we can't have that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what the future holds. Like I said, I've been having so much fun with Conquest. I've just really been enjoying the game. I still get frustrated with some RNG stuff, but for the most part,
that's the game.
Yeah, for the most part, I've just been having a blast playing, and I'm excited about the new card. So anyways, let's wrap it up. You haven't released a video lately, have you? I know you've been busy. I just started a new job. And and you're doing multiple podcasts, so maybe I should cut you a break.
Yeah, I'm doing another one tomorrow or Friday, probably tomorrow. So I'll have 3 this week. I edit 2 of them, so yeah, I do a little bit. So yeah, I haven't done a video in like a week. The last video I did, I think, was it about an update patch or something like that? Most recent patch, most recent update, whatever. So yeah, it's been about a week. I have some ideas for what I want to do, and I'm probably I'm gonna try to get a video out this weekend, and then try to get it going a bit more. It's just it's hard sometimes, but I'm definitely not gonna just stop. You know,
Make one on your new revamped Dino pet Dino with Nick Fury.
Yeah, I did make a video a few months ago when I hit infinite with it. So when that drops, I could do that. It's just gameplay's hard because my laptop screams. Because again, the problem isn't the fact that my laptop isn't good. It could stream stuff okay enough. The problem is I can't natively run Snap on the goddamn thing. I have to either run it through like a thing like BlueStacks, which is an Android
Mhm.
emulator, or a full-on virtual computer that dedicates half my RAM from 16 to 8 to that, and then stream at the same time or record on the thing at the same time. So like that, it's fucking like I can't just go launch Snap, close up everything else, and then just have 2 applications open and have like all 16 RAM. You go to that, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing? What are
You'll,
you working on?
you'll get there. So I've actually been working on I've mentioned on here the Marvel Snap Beginner's Guide book. I've been writing like crazy. Like I've gotten in the zone, hyped myself up. So I've knocked out a few chapters. So if anybody's in the Discord, I made a channel because I'm gonna need like beta readers and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully I write pretty fast, so hopefully within the next month that'll come out. But it will be, so I've been trying to figure it out. So like when I get into writing mode, I read a lot of books on writing, and there's a lot like about branding and niching down. And at first I started writing it so it was not just like beginners, but it also was like intermediate players. But I've decided to like cut a bunch of stuff and make it hyper focused on beginners, then do something more intermediate later. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, some people might learn some new stuff if they're like, because I assume people listening to this podcast are at least half decent at the game. You know what I mean? But I do have like some tips and tricks and stuff. But I'm gearing away from like conquest mode stuff. I'm like, no, you don't need to be messing with that for right now. Calm down. Like I just finished my chapter on snapping and like little mind games and stuff like that. Anyways, that's what I'm working on. Join the Discord. I need to do like a more public announcement sometime soon. But yeah, stay tuned for that. And I'm gonna still keep making videos when I have time, find new decks, all that kind of stuff. Been debating on doing conquest mode content, but like it's long. Those matches are long as hell, you
It is
know?
long. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I like
So
I like the length.
yeah. So anyways, that's what I got going on. And yeah, where can people find you, Brad?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Bradcifer. It's BRADCIFER. Very, 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 very easy. Also, I have a Discord now if you want to join that.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's cool. And
Yeah, he gave away a bunch of DC Dual Force
dude, I
beta
had
keys.
500 fucking codes left, and I'm like, just take them, please.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like
So
a hoarder.
we haven't had news about that either. I asked, and I was like, "Hey, any updates on this?" Maybe. I'll check on that later. But yeah, anyways, you can find me at BootmanMSTZ on Twitter. I've linked Brad's stuff too in the description. So yeah, go check out his stuff because he does another podcast too. Does the Can't Stop Snapping?
Can't
Does that
stop
with Teddy?
snapping with Teddy Ninja. Yeah, we had our first episode last week. I will be recording our second episode probably tomorrow, and that'll be out this weekend. And we're gonna have to bring Chris on at some point. I was not gonna ask you to do it this week because we both already did snap judgments, and I'm not gonna fucking flood the the interwebs with you too much. People will get a little bit of an overdose, and we don't want that.
People love me. You can never get enough boot, man.
Too much of a
But
good thing is
yeah,
possible. Okay.
yeah, this is true. Yeah, but cool. That's all we got. Tell them that we love them and all that good stuff, Brad.
We love you. We appreciate you. You guys are amazing. May your face shine on you and be gracious to you, and may the God keep you in his favor and give you his peace and all that shit, like my pastor used to say when I was a kid.
There you go.
Yeah, bye bye. We love you.
Peace.